Uh, First, welcome everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today in this webinar talking about digitalization of lean production systems. I'm very pleased um, to be starting this webinar. My name is Nancy Naimi. I'm the founder of Excellium Management Consultancy. We're a company based in United Arab Emirates. We help organizations transform their culture and look at how to sustain their results as they work with their workforce and try to engage them in their continuous improvement process. My expertise in organizational excellence, quality, integrated management systems, and I have dual masters in total quality management, agronomic sciences, and bioengineering. I believe in challenging the status quo and making excellence a habit. And I'm so pleased to be here today with our new partners from mlean, with Roberto Marcos. He's the CEO of and founder of mlean. And he will be walking you today through the mlean software and how it can help your organizations. So welcome, Roberto, welcome, Carlos, and the team from mlean with us here today. And my colleague, Nina, also, she's joining us from Excellium. So let me start by quick. You're welcome. So let me start with a quick introduction of Roberto. So he's the founder of mlean. He helps factories cut waste and improve profitability. And together we'll share with you how this helps organization in their growth journey and becoming more competitive in the market. He's an engineer by trade with a strong background in industry. Sorry, I'm having a lot of screen. Industrial environment. He's a former RD engineer at Indra and quality engineer at Thales. He believes continuous improvement is not just about software, it's about uniting people and processes to embed lean thinking into daily operations. And we see more and more talks about people and in the continuous improvement of organizations, and they are really the center of all what we do. And in any industry, in any sector, we see more and more focus on people because they are the one who deliver results to organization. So today is really about that. So let me start a little bit briefly talking to you about Excellium. We are a company based in United Arab Emirates. Like I said, we are the first affiliate of the Shingo Institute in the Middle East and Africa. Our model, the Shingo model, is really based about cultural transformation. And we help organizations design a culture of excellence and build a robust continuous improvement process. They go by hand. You start with continuous improvement and you go towards excellence, which is definitely a journey for organizations. Now, I want to ask you this question as we kick off this webinar today. So please, in the chat, tell us what stage is your digitalization journey today in? So are you really at the beginning, just getting started? You can type A. Are you piloting some digital tools already, or are you scaling across your departments? So please feel free to type in the chat so we can get a feel of who is in the room here with us today. We have piloting some digital tools and the mid of the journey. Great. So we have some people who are just really in the start. Okay. So please continue typing in the chat and we'll keep an eye on that. Now, what is your objective from attending the webinar? If you can help us a little bit also, please put in the chat, why are you here today? What attracted you from to attend this webinar? And what are you hoping to learn out of it? I would like to start with this saying, which I really cherish a lot, and it's about saying that was said by Dr. Shigeo Shingo, who gave his name to the Shingo model, which is based in Utah State University. There are four purposes of improvement: easier, better, faster, and cheaper. And if you see cheaper is at the last, we always, when we start making transformation, when we start thinking about improving, we always think about spending money, doing things maybe getting big, spending money on tools, trying to do things, in a big fancy way. But improvement really sometimes is about making just work easier, better, and faster for people. And if we start thinking about that, we definitely bring solutions which are more relevant to the organization, more relevant to the people, and we make their life easier and their work better and faster. And he said these four goals appear in the order of priority. So we need to really start with focusing on what is it that makes people's work easier, better, faster. And then the cheaper options definitely will be there. But mostly is about making that first transformation and the mindset where we try really to make work easier, better. Now, if I move forward in why we focus on culture in the Shingo model, it's because culture is all about people's behavior. And when the model started in 1988 and it was coupled with a prize and we had some prize winners, the research demonstrated that the prize winners had first an increase in their performance. And they saw that things were getting better initially in the beginning, but then there's always a decline. And the progress is not really something which is steady, which is constant. So they saw more and more fluctuations. And the question was why we don't sustain the gain, why organizations not necessarily continue that progress and that journey of improving performance. And they started researching all this. And the main takeaway from all the research was that it's all about people's behavior. If things don't continue, because there's somewhere down the line, people don't continue that journey. And they started looking at what makes that, what could be the chain, the factor that's going to impact organizations to focus on getting better and better rather than stopping in the middle or declining. So when we look at why organizations adopt lean, a lot of them they do lean. They want to really adopt tools and try to improve the work they do and what people does in their organization. But the ones that really make a big difference in transformation and their performance are the ones who become lean. And a lot of companies want to become lean. Maybe we see more and more of that, but we don't really see it as a reality. So when you look at the doing lean, you'll see kind of certain improvement in performance over time. But when your organization, your culture, your people behavior is really transformed, this is when you become a lean organization and your performance peak, as you see here in the graph. So the challenges, we work at a high level, at organization level on cultural transformation. I will show you in a while that the lean management system is at the core of the Shingo model. But what we've noticed with organizations, whether you want to integrate management systems, you want to focus on improving your process, improving your capabilities, or you want to go further in your excellence journey, there are challenges that all organizations almost face. Low adoption from teams. So you start something strong, everybody's motivated, they want to do it, they want to come on board, and then these things fade as you go through the journey. Lack of real-time visibility is a critical problem for organization. Poor data that's used for decision making. So the decision making itself is questionable. If you don't use good data, if you don't have accurate data and data that shows the reality of the work, definitely the decision making is not going to be ideal. We see no standardized problem-solving process in the organization, difficulty sustaining improvement, as I just shared, and there is a disconnect with the strategic goals. And we see more and more organization talking of alignment, how to make sure everybody knows where they are heading and how to go there. So that's where alignment comes in organizations. Now, the Shingo model, like I said, at its core is culture, and we look at culture transformation because it really matters. You change the behavior of people. You want everybody to be able to contribute to your continuous improvement process. So how to do that? We look at principles when we talk about the model. Today it's not about the Shingo model, but just I wanted to place lean within that model itself. So we have 3 dimensions when we look at the work we do with organizations. We look at enterprise alignment, continuous improvement, cultural enablers, and we try to bring everybody on board in that transformation journey. And we look at 3 main things. The first dimension is about the purpose, how everybody's aligned. The second one is about the improvement in the process. And the third one is about the people, the behavior, how everybody is interacting in the organization. And if you see, lean comes in the middle. It comes in the dimension which is about continuous improvement. For those familiar with lean, they might, when we talk assure quality at the source, improve flow and pull, focus on process, all of these are very good principles that helps organization implement robust systems. And we have the seek perfection mindset, the embrace scientific thinking, where everybody is encouraged to experiment and be part of the innovation journey of the organization also is important. So we have all of these elements that are important for culture transformation, also for the sustainability of the results and the improvement you do in the organization. So that's why when we look at lean in the center, the question for us is why we adopted lean manufacturing, why it's part really of the focus of of the organization is because it's really a critical element in achieving excellence, and it provides tools and systems. When we work with the Shingo model, we look at how tools and systems are connected and how they are facilitating the ideal behavior. They support culture transformation and provide sustainability in the performance and the improvement of performance that we seek. So lean concepts are the core of the Shingo model because they enable alignment with strategic objectives. They reinforce ideal behavior. They facilitate continuous improvement. They enable culture transformation, and they drive measurable operational excellence metrics and improvements. So if you look at organizations, you have your process, you have your organization as a whole. You want to start with that part where the work is happening. In the terminology of Dr. Shingo, we say go and observe in the Gamba. The Gamba is where the work is happening, and you need to control that part. You need to improve that part to provide a bigger improvement at the organization level. And that's why we focus on lean. Now, lean enables alignment. We do believe, though, that we have a lot of experiences with organizations showing that lean really provided a common direction for people to focus on improvement. This led to reducing waste, focusing on value creation across the value streams, ensuring every activity linked to customer value and strategic goals. So once you have a robust lean system, you'll see more and more alignment. And a McKinsey study of 2021 found that companies aligning lean and strategic goals achieved 15 to 30% increase in throughput, 30 to 50% productivity improvement. So there's a lot of good things happen when and everybody talks the same language and focus on the same things. Lean reinforces ideal behaviors when you provide people with tools to do problem solving, and when you do it at the front line, that provides really a mass quantity of improvements and really helps everyone change their behavior, be able to use the tools and be part of that problem solving process. And this promotes really a behavior of respect and ownership and collaboration among the people. When you have tools that facilitate that, and I think Roberto is going to talk a little bit about the models that we have in the mlean, you'll see 5S, Kaizen, visual management. All of these are really tools that help everyone be part of the continuous improvement process and exhibit behavior that will help everyone in the organization demonstrate better performance. And according to the Lean Enterprise Institute, companies which focus on lean and cultural practices report 25% reduction in employee turnover. We say happy customers, happy employees, happy customers, right? But also it's beyond just happiness. It's about engagement. It's about making sure people fulfill their potential. And there's a lot in that, in the lean mindset and the lean concepts. Lean facilitate continuous improvement. I don't think we can emphasize that enough. The methodologies we use for continuous improvement, the A3 thinking, the standard work, PCA, value stream are all tools to support continuous improvement. And Toyota demonstrated that very nicely in their approach to lean and the work they've done across years. And they got 70% fewer defects, 50% faster production cycles from just focusing on lean manufacturing compared to traditional manufacturing. Last point, which I really like to really emphasize, is that lean enables culture transformation. And we saw in the Shingo model, it's really the core. And this is when we see integration between processes, tools, systems, and the supportive leadership system. So when we talk about leadership, we talk about the senior management in the organization, but we talk about leadership at every level. Supervisors are leaders of teams, middle managers are supervisors of teams. So are leaders of teams. So that leadership system is across the entire organization. And that's why focusing on lean and having a lean mindset will support everyone in the organization take ownership of their activities, take ownership of their teams, and support them and spread that across the organization. And becomes a habit. Lean becomes a habit of everyone in the organization. And it's a principle-based behavior because we focus on driving ideal behaviors to principles. The winners of the Shingo Prize said that lean was an enabler for leadership and empowerment needed for their culture transformation. And we have hundreds of winners. And that's really, there's a lot of case studies around that. And this is key for culture transformation. And from all the 4 points I've mentioned before, if you implement lean, you drive measurable operational excellence. You will have metrics, you will have demonstrated improvements. And I think you can see here, like from BCG, organizations demonstrated 10 to 12% lower operating cost, 5% faster time to market. So there's a lot of benefits from providing alignment, having people to exhibit the right behavior, having a robust process of continuous improvement in the organization. Now, we've been having a lot of talks in the past years about digitalization, and we see a lot of companies wanting to have that on their agenda, focusing on it. Some people succeed, some don't. We had a lot of question about standardizing first before digitalizing. A lot of companies failed, and when they failed, they went back and said, okay, we didn't standardize first. We should have started with that. And to do that, you need definitely the right tool. You need a good digital tool to help you do lean digitalization right. And in my opinion, and I think Roberto's going to demonstrate that to you later, and that's why we believe that mlean is really a unique tool for organization, because you need really a tool that supports your lean principles that are just automating tasks. If you just look at the automating tasks, you're going to have a lot of missed opportunities in engaging people and improving your culture, improving your results. And we look at enabling visual management. Part of what we work with organization on is visual management, how to work to make your workplace really speaking to your people, a tool that helps really in bringing everyone together, giving them visibility over what they're doing. And Lean tool has that. Lean Digital has that. Allow real-time collaboration and problem solving. I think this goes without saying. When we look at lean, when we look at the continuous improvement process and problem solving in the organization, we want to be able to do that in real time, get data in real time, and engage everyone. So having a tool that facilitates that is really key for organizations. Definitely, I think no one really likes tools which are not user friendly, so that goes without saying, and accessibility across teams and devices. Data analytics is key. Tracking of results. So you need facility. Like I said, we need to make the work easier for people, faster, better. So having a good tool in place will help that and will facilitate that exchange of an analysis of data to get us to a better problem solving and better decision making. With this, I would like just to end up my part of the presentation by saying that it takes a lot of effort, maybe initially, to establish certain systems. There are tools that facilitate that. There are tools that makes it easier. It's all about really considering what are your needs, how can the tool help you, and what you're trying to achieve, what kind of improvements you're trying to achieve. And if you have a solid, robust roadmap, definitely you're going to get better results in a short time. With this, I would like to thank you for listening to me. I'll come back at the end of the presentation after Roberto's presentation, and now I'll leave it to Roberto to start his part. I'm going to stop sharing, Roberto, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so it's my turn. Let me share my screen. So now I put this on presentation mode. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Nancy, for inviting me, representing the whole mlean team, to participate in this webinar. As you mentioned at the beginning, I'm an engineer that during the last 14 years I've been, I consider myself as an entrepreneur during the last 14 years, but during the last 10 years specifically working in the mlean project. And my goal for today is to share with all of you some insights and benefits we've seen during these last 10 years working with companies about how digitalization can boost the lean implementation into the factories. Okay. And I would like to link my presentation with what you've been presenting in your presentation, Nancy, because let me change it. So the first message I want to share is that the results that lean provides are really good, are really impressive. However, when we work with companies and factories with a good lean maturity level, and we implement digitalization, then the results are truly transformative. Just look at these examples. The first example is working with Signify, which is former Philips Lighting. So it's a very big group working on lighting and producing any kind of lamp. They were the most advanced factory, and at the end, thanks to our implementation, they reduced on an 88% the number of crises with clients. Also, with most of our clients, we are reducing the time of training people by half. Also, 50% of reduction on absenteeism due to unsafe conditions. And as an average, we are improving also between 10 and 15% all the KPIs we have. So even if you have a good lean level, digitalization proves that there is still plenty of room for improvement for the traditional implementation. So lean aims to optimize processes in a consistent way. But at the end, we do, or what we find in most of our clients is that they do manually and it becomes slow and inconsistent. And this is the most common situation we see in our clients. And this is when digitalizations comes in. We try to remove these blockers and unblock the whole potential of lean. Even if you are starting, I mean, you don't have to have a really good level. Even if you are starting, think about the digital area we are living. So the people aim to use digital tools. So even if you are starting, digital will help you also in this lean journey. So at the end, what digital tools deliver is that make lean more effective and sustainable in the implementation. It has been demonstrated over the year. As Nancy has mentioned in her exposition about people's behavior, the risk of losing lean culture in a company is very high. And at the end, we've seen dozens of examples where companies have needed to invest again and again on consulting resources, internal or external. So really, digitalizations come to guarantee that the culture stands during the time. And I think most of you recognize yourself handling multiple files and consolidating information. So at the end, digital tools start by implementing uh, tools that will prevent you to perform a lot of non-added tasks and improving the scalability of the lean implementation. So, but it's not only about avoiding and eliminating unnecessary non-added value tasks. If we digitize the current process we have implemented is not enough. The goal behind is to improve for sure more safety, quality, performance KPI, but also foster communication between teams and aligns the entire organization with the goals of the company. That's the most important thing because uh, many times you find people performing 5S audits or defining or updating an standard. But the question is that if you ask them why, most of the people don't understand why they are doing things. They do because it's something they need to do, but they don't have a clear view of what is the goal of the whole company. What we call in one of our tool is called Hoshin Country. So the idea is how to align also with a digital tool that everybody moves in the right direction. And lately, but not less important, we need to guarantee that transparency and real-time response of all the people happen. This is clear because right now, maybe you perform one lean activity and then you need to handle the information later whenever the person, let's imagine TPM, you put in place some TPM routines, people perform the activities, but when the results arrive to the people that need to make some decisions, it's too late. So we need also with digital tools to accelerate the response of the people to the issues we have. And I would like to mention this sentence. I love it a lot because if everybody, as Henry Ford said, if everyone is moving forward together, then success takes care of itself. That means that digitalization allows everybody in the plan to move forward together. well connected, well informed, and aligned with good confidence level and with transparency is key. I mean, when we have several information sources in the factory, it's very, very difficult to move as a whole in the company, in the factory. And what we try to develop, and I'm going to present you right now, is a tool that can cover a system that can cover all those lean processes that you want to implement in the factory so that there is just only one source of information. Because if we don't move together, we will lose part of the power of the lean implementation. And this is when mlean started to create the MPS, you will see, trying to make life easier of the people in the shop floor, but for sure, integrating all the lean processes in one single system. Okay. And what's the system? The system is the mlean production system. Okay. Obviously, I have not covered 100% of the Toyota production system, but during these last 10 years, we've developed most of the models needed to be successful on the lean manufacturing implementation. Let me introduce some of them, and please feel free to ask something in the chat in the case you want to know more about that. So the MPS is web and mobile application that is composed by 5 preventive solutions, which are standardization, software management, audits, maintenance, and production support, and 1 improvement drivers, which for me are the most important part of the system. Because at the end, no matter how many audits you can perform in the shop floor, if you don't discover any issue and you put in place an action to recover from that situation, it's like nothing. So for me, this is the most important part of our system. But let's move from the very beginning. The standardization solution comes with some modules. One is the 5S workshop that lets you to implement not only the audit, which is something that we see quite common in some clients trying to digitize just the audit, but also carry on the whole workshop from the first S to the fifth, identifying what's needed, what's not needed, organizing, cleaning, defining the standard of the workstation, the maintenance activities that the operator need to do, and then the audit for sure. Once the workstation is standardized, then we have the visual standard, which is the tool we use for create the work instructions in video. And the idea is to have a material, all the know-how of the people to train operators in a very fastest way. And the idea is to make evolutions, a small improvement of the standards in a very easy way, because we have an approval methodology so that all the departments involved for new versions will be involved. Once we have workstations and processes, then we have to manage the skill matrix, who can work where and with what level of maturity. So this is a crucial tool for our team leaders because they need to manage their workforce. And in those places where there is a lot of rotation or the absenteeism is high, this is key because you need to be autonomous and very quickly respond to the demand of the production. So how to manage your people is key. And this tool is one of the most appreciated tools by our customers. And finally, we have the standard work audit, which is a specific module that tries to help people to verify the respect of the standard by the operators by analyzing safety rules, the respect of the order of the sequences, key points, and also the cycle time. Sometimes it's needed, sometimes it's not needed, measuring the cycle time, but also we try to find gaps on how people is respecting or not the processes. There will be a new module called Visual Standard Pro that will start on this cycle time analysis to understand where we have more variability so that we can start 7 waste analysis and try to improve the operations through Kaizen methodologies. Okay, but this will come. Then we have the shop floor management solution, and we have 3 models. The first 2 ones seem to be quite similar, but they are completely different. The daily routine or the routine is a coaching tool to define the leader standard work. In most of the cases where we go to factories, we see senior operators promoted as a team leader, but really they don't have management skills. So the question is how to focus them on important things and not only on urgent things. So the daily routine comes here in order to establish a daily routine for them. And at the end of the week, we can make a review coaching session so that we can help them to evolve in that management role. On the other side, the Gemba walk is another routine, but focused on aligning the whole factory on the goals and on the KPIs that we need to follow. So it starts on the plant manager and it goes to team leaders, middle managers, operators even. And the idea is to guarantee that all the important things are under control. And at the end of the week, again, we can perform a face-to-face meeting to align how people is seeing the reality of the factory. And this Gemba walk or this plan tour, also called in other clients, help us to build the SFM board, which is the traditional SQDCP board where we can have several KPIs and then all the action plans, problem, all the improvement ideas and notifications, problems escalations. So it's a board that is used for managing the daily meetings at the different levels. Okay. The audits we had in the past different models. All of them now are concentrated on the master audit. That is a very powerful model that can let you to create multiple categories of audits and inside multiple checklists depending on who is the person in charge, depending on the area. I mean, it's quite flexible, and it's linked with other models because we can audit an operator and have an impact on the skills matrix. This is where a whole system starts to help the whole factory to be connected. The TPM model is a really interesting model for those factories where they come with automated processes, because at the end we have operators managing machines and they have to perform specific activities, but really crucial. And the idea is how can we plan the whole shift with this task hour by hour, for example, so that they perform any kind of clean activities or review or even small maintenance activities. The question is in production on the autonomous part of the maintenance. Okay. Production support is the last preventive solution, and the idea is to give more autonomy, in this case, to our operators. The OK First Part model is a model that will guide them to start production, for example. So we are starting this new product. So what are the different review points that we need to review before starting production, even validating the quality of the product and then signing, because accountability is important for the operator. So they need to pass all the checkpoints and say, okay, I am in a good shape. I can start production. Let's go. So that's an important model for giving more autonomy, because we can find some reaction rules inside that the operator needs to put in place. And it's linked with visual standard, for example. So depending on verification of the Pokayokes, for example, then we can link with a small work instruction that will guide them to be more autonomous on the performance of that activity. A production alert is a reactive tool. So the idea is to have a gallery of alerts that we know that could happen. Whenever happen, the operator can raise it. look at the reaction rules. Let's put one example. Let's imagine if you are producing a specific part and you find a specific quality issue, okay, they will raise the alert and the alert will let them to continue work it. And if this happen again in the next hour, then you need to scale the alert. If not, you can close it. So the idea is to guide operators with the instructions they need to follow in order to avoid stopping everything, stopping and interrupting team middle managers, production managers, whenever something happens. The idea is to give them more autonomy. And finally, and very quickly, the improvement drivers. Again, no matter what modules you are using, you will be able to create an action plan, a PDCA, and we will have a centralized action plan in the whole factory. Improvement ideas, those projects where an action is not enough, and you need to identify the current situation, the desired, the investment, the expected results, and then put in place a project to really improve part of the processes you have in the factory. Problem solving, which for me is the most important model in the system, because through the root cause analysis, everything starts. At the end, we have many, many problems in the factories, and the idea is to understand where is our weakness and try to find those weaknesses and put in place and reinforce all the other models. And the HSC risk, which is similar to the improvement ideas, but is more focusing on anticipating safety hazards that we can have in the shop floor. Well, at the end, during these 10 years, we've been developing this, but this is not a theory, it's alive. We come with more than 530 factories all over the world, okay? And we have demonstrated the value that we add to all those companies. Some of them you can see here. Some of the examples, again, as I mentioned at the beginning, we work with Signify, and thanks to implementing Lean plus the digital tool we provide, they moved from 48,000 ppm to 280 in 2023, because they really, really standardize everything and they train completely the operators, and that was a huge step, and that gives them the opportunity to be the best factory in the world of this big group. In C Automotive, this is an automotive tier one supplier. Really, they perform a lot of 5S audits, but at the end, they never close more than 67% of the actions. So they move and they improved a lot all the action close, and really the impact in the factory was incredible. And finally, another example is OP Mobility, formerly known as Plastic Commune. Thanks to implement routines, Gemba Walk, and LPAs, the plant manager at 9 a.m., he knows quite well what is the reality of the factory and where the issues are. And this is helping a lot through communication and visibility about what is happening. So just to summarize, digital is the best ally for really consistently implement Lean. We have demonstrated over the years, but it's not a quick fix. It's a journey. Some of the clients I've mentioned, they have started in 2018, and after 6 years, they have implemented the whole system. So it's not a question of having the whole NPS or whatever tool you want to find. It's a question of identifying your priorities and starting. But once you start and you implement really well, then the consistency appears, okay? And also it's important that, I mean, sometimes I find IT departments saying, okay, we need to digitize this, digitize the other. But the question here is that everything starts on your workers. You need to involve them as much as possible. Otherwise, you will fail. And the first thing we did at the very beginning of the mlean trajectory was to buy safety shoes to all the people in the company, even engineers. And we tried to engage them visiting clients in the shop floor, because what we need is the voice of our customers, our end users. And this is why I think we are having so much success with our clients because really it's a people-centric approach focusing on workers. So I don't want to continue more in my presentation. Maybe you can ask me something. In any case, we are here to help you. If you want to set up a discovery and personalized discovery call, just go to mlean.com or through Nancy team. I mean, whenever you want to understand more what we do, please feel free to contact us. And finally, a bonus content. In this AI era where we are seeing every day a new AI agent trying to help our lives and make our lives easier, we have launched also our AI agent called Naila or Nila. Naila AI is a specialized AI agent on lean manufacturing. So I invite you to go there. It's for free. You just need to have, in this case, a Google account. Try to make some questions. We have tried to put in place all our knowledge from the last 10 years and give us your feedback. I mean, this is the most recent content project, sorry, that we will include in our system in the short term, because I think AI will change also and will speed up things also in the lean digital journey. So that's all from my side. I don't know, Nancy, if you want
Yeah.
to share your screen, I can
Um,
stop and you can share, or we
yeah,
can do.
I can put our slide back, but just one question. I think Roberto, thank you very much for your presentation. Very clear. So, can you please explain more about the master audit model mentioned in slide 11? So that's a question from Ahmed. So he wants to know more about the master audit model.
Okay, so let me share again my screen. So I have prepared, so I will stop presenting
And I
that.
encourage
And
other attendees, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat too. Thank you.
yes, so the master audit model, let me open. uh, This is the standard. Let's come back here. So the master audit model is part of the core of the MPS. It's always uh, uh, offered, I mean, by default. So the idea is we can define a wide variety of audits. Maybe we can define safety, quality, or whatever, or quality or RPAs categories. And then we can create as many checklists as you want with different evaluation criteria. Maybe it's okay and okay like this, but sometimes it's adding a number or an answer or whatever. The question here is that we can cover most of the shop floor audits you can put in place from, because there are several configurations that you can put. Maybe it's needed to audit an operator. Maybe you want to have impact on the schemes matrix. Maybe you want to force people to create an action whenever a non-okay or a non-okay or a problem appears, and that's the do part. But also we have the complete PDCA. At the end, we have a planning part where you can plan one by one or in an automatical way. So you can plan the whole audits depending on the role, depending on the areas for the whole year, for example. Then obviously everybody will receive notifications and invitations whenever an audit is created, is planned. Then the do part that you can do on your tablet, on your phone, on your PC, whatever format is available. The check part is key for us because whenever you answer one of the criteria, you can create an action plan, or you can create an improvement idea, or you can open problem solving or whatever. So the idea is, again, through the audit, which is a standard process, to observe things, give continuity through the improvement drivers we have. And obviously, on the act part, we have sorry, on the check part, we have all the analysis of the trends, Pareto graphs, and things like that. It is the most used module we have in all our clients. I don't remember Carlos is here, but I think during the last year, almost 500,000 audits have been done in all our clients. So
That's
uh,
right.
it's something really, really useful for our clients.
Thank you very
And
much,
obviously,
Roberto.
you can add pictures, videos, you can link documents. I mean, it's quite easy to configure, and yes, really powerful.
Exactly. And I think Ahmed has a follow-up question, but we're going to make it quick for this one because we have another question from Danny. So he's saying, impressive work, really, but could it be modified to certain situations? Like I work in a food and beverage company and we need more detailed checklist. So they can adjust their checklist to their needs.
Yes. I
Roberto?
mean, yes, that's the goal. I mean, we just provide the container, but the content is created by you, and you can configure as much as you want. Try to imagine. I shared the number of clients we work with, so we have covered. The good thing of mlean is that we are working with top manufacturers, for example, in the food and beverage with Coca-Cola or Pacific Partners, or Natra is the chocolate manufacturer, or even Nestle or others. So at the end, they have proven that in this case, the master audit model is quite adapted to their reality.
Thank you, Roberto. So I think the system is flexible enough and robust to make sure that you get standardization, but also be able to adjust those to your needs. So then he has a question about if you have developed a mobile app for the system, and do you have OEE dashboards and Kaizen events? I know Kaizen events are there, and also OEE, the overall
Yes,
equipment effectiveness.
we,
Yeah.
in fact, mlean comes from mobile lean because we wanted to be mobile first. So one of the principles we put in place at the very beginning was to guarantee people was in the shop floor, and that's why we provide mobile devices, tablets, or whatever, and the mobile applications are key because we want to have people doing whatever is needed in the shop floor. So mobility is the first thing. Obviously, we have the dashboard where we can uh, see the information in meeting rooms, on the office, where you can see everything aggregated. So that's the first question. Mobility is key. And in terms of dashboards for the meetings, as I mentioned, the SFM board is what we use for analyzing and conducting the meetings. So we can feed all those KPIs coming from Gemba Walk, coming from the SFM board itself, from other tools from mlean. Maybe we want to have an indicator of what's the status of the LPAs or whatever. But also there is an API. The system integrates quite well in most of our clients through our API, so that people are feeding this SFM board with information coming from the MES or the QMS or other systems. It's a recent model, I have to say. It started in September 2023. It is evolving a lot. We thought at the very beginning that we didn't need to develop this, honestly, because most of the information was not here. I mean, we don't have information about OEE, we didn't have information about absenteeism, and we push our clients to move into business intelligence direction. The problem was that they did, and they realized that this is in a single direction. Let's say, so you have your Power BI or Tableau dashboards, but you cannot interact with them. You just have the information and that's all. And they needed to come back to mlean to update action plans or update a problem or do whatever or add some notes of the meeting. So at the end, we realized that that was something really, really needed by our customers. And that's why we started 2 years ago developing, and one of the models that are growing more in our clients because we can manage the daily meetings at the different levels of the factory and in a very easy way. I mean, it's really, really powerful.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Do we have any more questions from? Yeah, we have one more question from Christina. I forgot to ask. Can you explain more about the skill matrix, Roberto, for Christine?
Mhm. Yes, the skills matrix, just a small picture here. We can find the people that can work there. Obviously, in the system, you can define the structure of the factory, the roles, the departments, the teams, whatever. And at the end, this will help us to structure very well the skills matrix. At the end, we are going to find the people and the processes. And where those crosses, we have the skill level. We use the standard ILUO, where I is something which is in training period, and maybe O is the master. We can define, depending on the client, what does it mean, because we can define a specific ILUO audit that directly, depending on the result, you will have directly here your level. But this is quite a smart tool because we can configure several things. For example, if someone has not worked on a specific workstation for a certain period of time, we can have alerts like this saying, okay, if this guy is not working again in this assembly uh, position, he's going to lose the capability to work. Also, we can have other remarks. For example, this small red ball, implies that someone, I don't know, but someone has performed an audit and there are non-compliances affecting this person with this process. So the team leader can enter and see what's the results and maybe put in place an action plan. Also, if there are quality issues that the person is performing, you can define your own goals for the different processes. I mean, and there are other things that we have evolved, like managing certifications and so on. But the idea is always to have a real-time view of who can work where and very quickly make your decisions to guarantee that all the processes are well covered, because you can also plan trainings and do things like that. Okay. So it is really, really important for our clients to have that managed instead of using an Excel file, which is honestly, it's really, really complex. You don't have traceability. In this case, whatever change that happens, you can access to the history of the level. I mean, I don't want to explain more,
I
but
think there's plenty
just
of
a
yeah.
rough, yes, plenty of
Yeah, I think
functionality behind.
there's
Yes.
a lot of good features. It really helps monitor the process, help people to do their job better, and be able to really have those scheduled tasks and activities very well organized and to really generate better results. So thank you very much for Roberto
Mhm.
for this. I don't see more questions in the chat. So I please feel free to connect with us later on also for discovery call or with MD. And so we're jointly working on this. We know there's a lot of a good focus on lean in the region, and there's more that we can do for manufacturing. Both, I mean, the countries of the GCC countries are focusing a lot on the industry as part of their visions for 2023, 2030, 2035, depending on the country. And manufacturing is growing here. So there's definitely needs to do things in a more standardized way and engaging employees in that process, like Roberto said. And I think we all believe that the employees are key and that everything happens through them, right? So the value is generated through them. So with this, I would like to thank you very much. There will be a survey. If you can just answer it at the end for us, it will help us continuously improve. We're in the business of continuous improvement. And thank you very much for attending today, Roberto and team. Thank you very much,
Thank
Lina,
you.
also for organizing, and hope to come back with more new things, I think, to share with you all. Thanks, Carlos.
Okay. Thank you
Everybody,
very
thank you again
much.
for
It's been a
attending. Bye-bye.
pleasure.